I stand in front of the tallest office building in the city and stare at my reflection in the glass. My hair is neat. My blouse is ironed. My resume is printed on clean paper. My feet are bare. My shoes broke on the bus. The sole tore open like it gave up on me. I tried to fix it with tape from my bag, but it would not hold. I whispered to myself, "You came this far. You are not turning back." I push the glass door open and step inside. Cold marble touches my skin. It feels like judgment. 25 candidates sit in the waiting area. Black heels. Sharp suits. Polished smiles. One woman looks down at my feet and raises her eyebrow. Another leans toward her friend. Is this some kind of social experiment? Soft laughter spreads. I lift my chin and walk to the reception desk. Name? The receptionist asks without looking at me. I tell her my name. Her eyes drop. She freezes for 1 second. Do you need assistance? She asks carefully. I need the interview, I reply. She clears her throat. Please have a seat. I sit in an empty chair at the end of the row. I place my folder on my lap so my hands stop shaking. A tall woman in a red suit turns toward me. Bold choice, she says. I did not choose it, I answer. She smirks. First impressions matter here. I know, I say quietly. She looks satisfied like she already won something. A man across from me whispers, "They will never take you seriously." I look at him. I take myself seriously. He has no reply. Names are called one by one. Each candidate walks in confident and walks out either proud or pale. My heart beats louder each time the door opens. Finally I hear my name. My stomach twists. I stand. The marble floor feels colder now. Every step echoes. I follow the assistant down a long hallway lined with glass walls and framed awards. She stops in front of double doors. Good luck, she says softly, and for a second her eyes show kindness. I nod. I push the doors open. The office is large but simple. Sunlight pours in from behind the desk. He stands near the window. Young, calm, focused. The Millionaire CEO. He turns slowly. His eyes move from my face to my hands, then down. He notices. Silence fills the room. I prepare myself for humiliation. Instead, he gestures toward the chair in front of him. Please sit. I sit carefully, folding my feet under the chair. He remains standing for a moment, studying me. Then he asks, "What happened?" "My shoes broke," I say. He waits. I add, "On the way here." "And you still came?" "Yes." "Why?" I swallow. "Because missing this interview would cost more than a pair of shoes." He walks behind his desk and sits down. Everyone else managed to arrive prepared. I was prepared, I reply. Just not lucky. His lips almost curve into a smile. Do you think luck builds companies? He asks. No, I answer. Need does. He leans back. Explain. I need this job, I say. Not for status. Not for pride. I need it to survive. When someone needs something that badly, they fight differently. He studies me closely. Desperation can create mistakes, he says. It can also create loyalty, I respond. He taps a pen against the desk. You are aware that 25 candidates outside have stronger resumes? Yes. And better presentation? Yes. And shoes? I let out a small breath. Yes. Then why should I choose you? The question hangs heavy. I lean forward slightly. Because I will never forget what it feels like to sit outside that door with nothing, I say. If you give me a position here, I will protect it with everything I have. Silence again. He opens my resume. You graduated top of your class, he says. Yes. You worked 2 part-time jobs. Yes. You list advanced data analysis skills. I taught myself. Why? Because no one was going to hand me opportunity. He closes the file slowly. You are not embarrassed? He asks quietly. I am, I admit. But I am more afraid of staying poor than looking poor. He looks at me differently now. Stand up, he says suddenly. My heart jumps. Excuse me? Stand. I stand. He walks around the desk. He stops in front of me. Close enough that I can see small lines near his eyes. You walked across that marble floor knowing everyone was watching, he says. Yes. You did not cry. No. You did not leave. No. He nods once. Confidence is not about clothes, he says softly. It is about decision. I do not know how to respond. He walks back to his chair. Tell me, he says, if I reject you today, what will you do? I inhale slowly. I will find another door, I answer. and I will walk through it, with or without shoes. He watches me for a long moment. Then he presses a button on his desk. Send the next candidate home, he says into the speaker. My pulse stops. He looks at me. I have seen enough. I blink. Enough to reject me? He shakes his head. Enough to hire you. The words hit me like light. I do not understand, I whisper. I built this company from nothing, he says. I recognize hunger when I see it. I feel my throat tighten. You will start Monday, he continues. Probation period. Prove me right. I will, I say immediately. He studies me one more time. And buy yourself a pair of shoes, he adds quietly. Emotion rises in my chest. I will, I repeat. I turn to leave. Wait, he says. I stop. What you walked in with today, he says, do not lose it. I will not, I promise. I walk back through the hallway. The assistant looks up. Finished? Yes. And? I start Monday. Her mouth falls open. When I enter the waiting area, 24 faces look at me. The woman in the red suit stands quickly. How did it go? I got the job, I say. Silence crashes over the room. That's impossible, someone whispers. I pick up my folder. The marble floor does not feel cold anymore. As I walk past them, I hear soft disbelief. I push the glass doors open and step outside. Sunlight warms my skin. I look down at my bare feet. They laughed at you, I whisper to myself. But you stayed. My phone vibrates. A message from an unknown number appears. Do not disappoint me. I stare at the screen. No name. Just the message. My miracle has begun. And something tells me, it already comes with a warning. I open my email 3 times before I believe it. Official employment offer. My hands shake as I download the contract. The salary number stares back at me. I whisper, this cannot be real. I call my mother immediately. I got it, I say. You got the job? She asks. Yes. How much are they paying you? I tell her. Silence. Then I hear her crying. Are you hurt? I ask quickly. No, she says through tears. I am proud. I sit on my bed and press the phone to my ear. I will fix the roof, I say. You will fix your life, she replies. I sign the contract that night. The digital signature feels heavier than ink. On Monday I wear my new shoes. Simple. Black. Strong. I walk into the building again. The marble floor feels different now. The receptionist looks up. Welcome back. Thank you, I say. The HR manager greets me near the elevators. I am Nadia, she says, shaking my hand. We value professionalism here. I understand, I reply. Her eyes drop to my shoes for a second. I am glad you prepared properly today, she adds softly. I was prepared before, I say. She smiles, but it does not reach her eyes. During orientation, whispers move across the room. That is the Barefoot girl. I heard he hired her on the spot. Must be nice. I keep my head straight. After paperwork, Nadia walks me to my desk. Your probation is strict, she says. One mistake can end it. I will not make mistakes, I answer. Everyone does, she says calmly. What matters is who notices. She leaves me with that sentence. By noon I receive my first task. Data analysis for a client presentation. A senior employee stands behind me. You are new, she says. I turn. Sharp eyes. Perfect makeup. Red lipstick. I am Lena, she says. I know, I reply gently. I studied the team structure. She raises one eyebrow. Ambitious. I am serious. She leans closer to my screen. That file is advanced, she says. Are you sure you can handle it? Yes. If you fail, it reflects on all of us. I will not fail. She smiles thinly. Confidence is dangerous when it is new. She walks away. I work through lunch. Numbers blur. Graphs form. By evening, I send the completed report to Nadia. 5 minutes later, my phone buzzes. CEO wants you in the conference room. My heart jumps. I enter carefully. He stands at the head of the table. Sit, he says. I sit. He flips through printed pages. You did this alone? He asks. Yes. No external help? No. He looks up. This is precise, he says. Better than expected. Thank you. He nods once. Keep this pace. I will. As I leave, I notice Lena watching through the glass wall. Her expression is unreadable. Days pass. I arrive first. I leave last. Sarah calls one night. Are you sleeping at all? She asks. I cannot afford comfort, I say. You got the job. You can breathe. Not yet. You sound scared. I am not scared, I whisper. I am alert. At the office, small things begin happening. Emails sent to me late. Meeting times changed without notice. Once, I walk into a presentation and Lena says, "Oh, were you invited?" "My name is on the schedule," I reply. "Strange," she says lightly. "Must be a system error." I sit anyway. During the meeting, I share a correction about projected losses. Silence follows. The CEO looks at the screen. "She is right," he says calmly. Lena's jaw tightens. Afterward, she stops me near the printer. "You like attention," she says. "I like accuracy. You think talent protects you? I think results do." She steps closer. "You were lucky he noticed you. I was prepared when he did." Her voice drops. "Be careful," she says. Luck fades. That night I stay late again. The office empties. Lights dim. I gather my papers when I sense someone behind me. "You work like someone running from something," he says. I turn. He stands a few feet away. "I am running towards something," I answer. "What?" "Security." He studies me. "Do you trust this place?" he asks. "I trust my work." That was not my question. I hesitate. "I trust myself," I say finally. He nods slowly. "Good." He turns to leave, then pauses. "Do not let noise distract you." I will not. When he walks away, I feel two things at once: pride and pressure. The next week, Nadia calls me into her office. "Some team members feel uncomfortable," she says. "Why?" "They feel you are advancing quickly. I complete my tasks." "Yes," she says carefully. "But perception matters. So I should slow down?" I did not say that. "Then what are you saying?" She folds her hands. "Balance ambition with awareness." Of what? Of who feels threatened. I leave her office with a tight chest. At lunch, I sit alone. Lena joins me without asking. "You know," she says, stirring her coffee, "I have been here 5 years. That is impressive. I built client trust from nothing. I respect that. And then you arrive. I applied for a job. You stepped into space that was already shaped." I meet her eyes. "I am not here to take anything from you." She laughs softly. "That is what everyone says." She stands. "Just remember," she adds, "companies do not protect feelings. They protect hierarchy." When she walks away, I stare at my reflection in my spoon. I see determination. But I also see how alone I am here. That evening, I receive an internal message from an unknown account. "Be careful who you outshine." My breath slows. I look around the office. Everyone appears busy. I type back, "Who is this?" No reply. Minutes later, my system logs me out. I try to log back in. Access temporarily restricted. My stomach drops. I walk quickly to IT. "There must be a mistake," I say. The technician checks the screen. "That is strange," he murmurs. "Your credentials were flagged for unusual activity." "What activity?" "Large file access." "I did not access anything unusual." He frowns. "The report shows otherwise." Cold spreads through me. "Can you fix it?" I ask. "I will reset for now," he says. "But be cautious." I nod slowly. When I return to my desk, Lena looks up. "Everything okay?" she asks sweetly. "Yes," I say. "You look pale." "I am fine." She tilts her head. "Good," she whispers. "It would be tragic if your probation ended early." I stare at her. "Did you say something?" She smiles. "Welcome to corporate life." She turns back to her screen. I sit down slowly. My signed contract rests inside my drawer. Proof that I belong here. But for the first time, I feel how thin that paper truly is, and how easily someone could try to tear it. "Join us." I freeze when I hear it. "Excuse me?" I ask. "Board meeting," he says calmly. "Conference room. 10 minutes." I am still on probation. I am aware. He walks past me without waiting. My pulse races as I gather my notebook. Inside the conference room, long glass walls reflect power. 6 board members sit around the table. Sharp suits. Sharp eyes. One of them looks at me. "Who is this?" "I invited her," he replies. "She is junior staff," another says. "She is data strategy," he corrects. I sit quietly. Slides appear on the screen. Revenue projections. Expansion plans. Halfway through, a board member says, "These numbers seem optimistic." He turns to me. Your thoughts. All eyes shift. I swallow. The growth rate assumes stable supplier pricing. And, he presses. And the supplier contract expires in 4 months. Silence. That risk is not reflected, I add. A board member leans back. How do you know that? I reviewed procurement files. Why? I check everything connected to revenue. He nods slowly. The room changes. After the meeting, he stops me near the hallway. You did not hesitate, he says. I was terrified. You did not show it. I cannot afford to. A small pause. Come to my office, he says. Inside, sunlight fills the space. You understand patterns, he says. Most people only see reports. I see consequences, I answer. He studies me. Why do you push so hard, he asks. Because slowing down feels like falling. He leans against his desk. I started this company in a small rented room, he says. No investors. No safety. I know that feeling, I reply. You grew up poor. Yes. How poor? I hesitate, then speak. Some nights I studied under streetlights because electricity was cut. His expression shifts. And you still graduated top of your class. I did not have a backup plan. He nods slowly. Neither did I. That conversation lingers in my mind all day. By afternoon, Lena appears at my desk. You seem comfortable upstairs, she says. I go where I am asked. You enjoy being noticed. I enjoy being useful. Her smile tightens. Board members do not like surprises. I presented facts. You presented yourself, she corrects. I did my job. She leans closer. You are sitting close to the sun. I meet her eyes. I am not afraid of heat. She straightens. Everyone burns eventually. She walks away. That night, I receive another invitation to the executive floor. You wanted to see me? I ask. Yes, he says. Sit. He hands me a printed draft of a new expansion plan. Review this. This is confidential. So is your loyalty. I scan the pages. The risk allocation is uneven, I say after a moment. Explain. You are absorbing most liability personally. He gives a faint smile. I built this. I take responsibility. Responsibility is not the same as isolation, I say quietly. He looks at me differently. You speak like someone older. I feel older. A silence grows between us. Why did you really come to that interview without shoes? He asks suddenly. My shoes broke. That is the surface answer. I inhale slowly. Because going home would have meant giving up. And that scares you? Yes. He nods. Good. Good? I ask. Fear keeps ambition sharp. I stand to leave. Wait, he says. I pause. You earned this, he adds. Do not let anyone convince you otherwise. The next week, my name appears on 3 more project teams. Whispers grow louder. In the cafeteria, someone says, she is everywhere. Another replies, he favors her. I pretend not to hear. During a strategy session, a board member stops me. Why are you here again? He asks. I was assigned. He glances at him. This is not a classroom. I am not here to learn, I say calmly. I am here to contribute. He watches me for a long second. Then contribute. I do. After the meeting, I step into the elevator. Lena steps in behind me. Doors close. You think he trusts you, she says softly. He trusts results. He trusts loyalty. I am loyal. To who? She asks. To the company. She smiles slowly. Be careful, she whispers. Trust can be rearranged. The elevator doors open. She walks out first. That weekend I do something new. I walk into a small boutique near my apartment. The saleswoman smiles. Looking for something special? Yes, I say. For an event? For myself. I choose a pair of elegant heels. Not flashy. Strong. When I pay, my hands tremble. First big purchase? She asks kindly. Yes. You earned it. I carry the box home like it holds glass. That night, I place the new shoes beside my old broken pair. I sit on the floor and stare at them. I made it, I whisper. My phone buzzes. A message from him. Tomorrow 8 a.m. Executive briefing. Only you and me. My heart skips. Understood, I reply. I arrive early the next morning wearing the new heels. They click softly against marble. He looks up as I enter. New shoes, he says. Yes. You look different. I feel different. He He studies me for a moment too long. Confidence suits you. Opportunity builds it. We sit across from each other reviewing financial forecasts. At one point, our hands brush reaching for the same document. A small pause. Sorry, I say. It is fine. Silence stretches. You know, he says slowly, not everyone is happy about your growth. I know. Does that worry you? Yes. Does it stop you? No. He nods once. That is why I chose you. The words settle heavily between us. Outside his glass office, I notice Lena watching. Her expression is no longer just cold. It is calculating. Later that afternoon, I return to my desk and find a small envelope. No name. Inside is a printed photo. Me. Walking into his office. Taken from far down the hallway. On the back, one sentence is written. Flying too high has consequences. My fingers tighten around the paper. I look toward the executive floor. For the first time since I started rising, I feel something else. Not pride. Not fear. A warning. And I do not yet know who is waiting below for me to fall. Have you seen the proposal file? I look up from my screen. No. It was finalized last night. It is gone. My stomach tightens. Gone? Deleted from the shared drive, the IT voice says. Completely wiped. That is impossible, I whisper. Board members received an anonymous email this morning. About what? A data leak. My breath turns shallow. Whose login? I ask. Pause. Yours. The word hits like a slap. That is wrong, I say immediately. Check again. We did. I did not delete anything. Executive floor. Now. I walk toward the elevator feeling every stare. Whispers move faster than footsteps. She had access. I knew it was too quick. Probation never lasts. The executive hallway feels colder than ever. Nadia stands outside the office. Go in, she says quietly. I enter. He does not look up at first. A printed document rests on his desk. Close the door, he says. I do. Silence. Finally he lifts his eyes. Did you access the international merger proposal at 2:14 a.m.? He asks. No. The system shows your credentials. I was asleep. The file was copied to an external device. I do not even own one, I reply. His jaw tightens. An anonymous message claims you were paid by a competitor. My chest burns. That is a lie. Then explain the access log. I cannot explain something I did not do. He slides a paper toward me. My login ID. Timestamp. Activity report. It looks official. I did not do this, I repeat. He watches me carefully. Why would someone frame me? I ask. That is what I am trying to determine. Then believe me. I believe evidence. The words slice deeper than anger. I worked nights for this company, I say. I defended projections. I protected risk. And now we have risk because of you. Not because of me. He stands. Do you understand what this means? Yes, I whisper. It means someone is lying. It means investors are questioning integrity. I would never betray this place. His eyes hold something heavy. Intent does not change impact. That is not fair. Fair is not part of this. Silence stretches. Look at me, I say softly. He hesitates then does. Do I look like someone who would sell trust? I ask. He does not answer. That hurts more than shouting. A knock interrupts us. Come, he says. Lena steps inside. I heard about the leak, she says carefully. I cannot believe it. Her eyes flick to me. You had access? She asks. Yes, I answer sharply. Like many others. She shakes her head slowly. I always said rapid promotions cause instability. Say what you want clearly, I reply. She folds her arms. I am just shocked. You seem calm for someone shocked. Her lips press together. I value this company, she says. Some of us built it for years. So did I say. You have been here months. I gave everything. Apparently not loyalty. Enough, he says firmly. Silence falls. I need clarity, he continues. Until then, precaution is necessary. Precaution. The word echoes. You are suspending me, I say. Temporary, he replies. For how long? Until investigation ends. And if you find nothing? We will see. I feel the ground slipping. You promised to trust me, I whisper. I promised opportunity, he corrects. My throat tightens. I did not betray you. He looks away. That is not how it appears. The meeting ends. Just like that. I walk back to my desk. Conversations stop as I pass. A coworker who once asked for help avoids my eyes. Someone whispers, "It was obvious." I pack slowly. My contract rests inside my drawer. I hold it for a moment. Paper feels thin. Lena approaches again. "Such a shame," she says softly. "Did you do this?" I ask directly. Her expression does not change. "Be careful," she says. "Accusations require proof." "Like the one against me?" She leans closer. "Perception becomes truth in companies like this." "Truth always returns," I reply. She smiles faintly. "Not always in time." I leave the building holding a small box of personal items. The marble floor feels colder than the first day. Outside, my phone vibrates nonstop. Messages. "Is it true? Did you leak data?" A notification from a business blog appears. "Internal source suspected in data breach." My name is not written, but everyone knows. I turn the phone off. At home, my mother opens the door. "You are early," she says. I cannot answer. "What happened?" she asks. I place the box on the table. "Suspended," I whisper. "For what?" "They think I leaked confidential data." Her face drains of color. "You?" "I did not." "Then tell them." "I tried." She touches my arm. "They will see the truth." I wish I believed that. I go to my room and sit on the floor. The new heels stand near my bed. Strong. Polished. Untouched since morning. I remove them slowly. My feet press against the cool tile. Bare again. My phone lights up despite being off airplane mode. One new message. Unknown number. "Power attracts enemies." My hands shake. Another message follows. "You should have stayed in your place." Tears blur my vision. I think about the first day. The sunlight. The choice. The belief in his eyes. Now I see something else there. Doubt. That hurts more than losing the job. I open social media. Rumors spread like wildfire. Inside betrayal. Trusted employee under investigation. I close the app quickly. I cannot breathe. My mother knocks softly. "Eat something," she says. "I am not hungry." "Do not let this break you." "I do not know how to fight something invisible." Silence. Then she says gently, "You walked into that building without shoes once. That was different." "How?" "I had nothing to lose. And now, I have everything to lose." Night falls. I sit in darkness. My mind replays his words. I believe evidence. Not me. Evidence. I look at my signed contract on the desk. A promise reduced to suspicion. My phone buzzes again. A final message. "Tomorrow the board meets again." No name. No explanation. Just that. I stare at the screen. If they decide without me, my future ends. If I fight, I risk looking desperate. Forgive the doubt? Or walk away with dignity? I press my palms against the floor. Cold. Hard. Real. For the first time since that interview, I feel like the girl without shoes again. But this time, I am not standing at a door. I am standing on nothing. And I do not know if there is still ground beneath me. Sit. I do not argue this time. The boardroom feels smaller than before. No sunlight. No warmth. Just paper. He slides a document toward me. "Effective immediately," he says. I stare at the title. Termination of employment. No investigation? I ask quietly. The board voted. Based on one email? Based on risk. I asked you to check deeper. We reviewed what we had. You did not review me. Silence. My eyes move to the bottom of the page. His signature is already there. It looks slightly uneven. "You signed this," I whisper. "Yes." "Did your hand shake?" I ask before I can stop myself. His jaw tightens. "This is not personal." "It feels personal." "It is business." "I was loyal." "I know." The words hang heavy. "Then why?" I ask. He looks at me for a long moment. "Because doubt at this level destroys everything." "And firing me fixes it?" "It contains it." I feel something break inside. "You chose containment over truth." He does not respond. "Do you believe I did it?" I ask. Another pause. "I believe the evidence." "That is not what I asked." Silence again. That silence is my answer. I sign the acknowledgement copy. Not because I agree. Because I understand. I stand. "Security will escort you," he says. "I can walk alone." He nods. I return to my desk. No one looks at me directly. My chair feels unfamiliar. I open my drawer. My contract. My notebook. A framed photo of my mother. I place everything in a small box. Lena approaches slowly. I heard, she says softly. I am sure you did. I never wanted it to end like this. Like what? Messy. It is not messy, I reply. It is convenient. Her lips curve faintly. You rose quickly. I worked. She tilts her head. Sometimes people mistake speed for stability. And sometimes people mistake jealousy for loyalty. Her smile fades. Be careful what you imply. I am not implying, I say. I am observing. She steps closer. You think you are the victim? I think I was targeted. Prove it. I hold her gaze. One day I will. She laughs quietly. One day is too late. I lift my box and walk toward the elevator. The marble floor echoes again. Just like the first day. Outside the building, the sun feels harsh. I set the box down on a bench. Slowly I remove my heels. I hold them in my hands. Then I place them inside the box. I step onto the pavement barefoot. This time no one laughs. No one cares. I walk. Tears blur my vision. My chest hurts. I do not stop walking until my legs ache. My phone rings. Sarah, I whisper. Tell me it is not true, she says immediately. It is true. They fired you? Yes. For something you did not do? Yes. Then fight. With what? I ask. Screenshots? Tears. With truth. Truth did not matter. It will. I am tired, I say. You cannot give up. I am not giving up, I reply softly. I just do not know how to stand. She exhales sharply. Come over. I cannot. Why? Because if I start talking, I will break. Silence. Then she says, you survived worse. This feels worse. Why? Because this time I believe them. Days pass. Bills pile up on the table. Rent. Utilities. Loans. I send applications. No responses. Then rejections. We appreciate your interest. We have decided to move forward with other candidates. One recruiter calls me. I need to ask directly, she says. Are the rumors accurate? No. There are articles. They are wrong. We cannot take reputational risks. The call ends. I sit staring at the blank wall. I open my laptop and search my name. Headlines appear. Internal breach suspect terminated. Rising analyst falls. I close it quickly. My mother watches me from the doorway. You are shrinking, she says gently. I am realistic. You are wounded. I am humiliated. She walks in and sits beside me. You walked into that building without shoes once. Please do not say that again. Why? Because that girl believed hard work solved everything. And? I was wrong. Night falls again. I sit on the floor near my bed. The box from the office rests in the corner. I open it slowly. My contract. His signature. My name beneath it. I trace the ink with my finger. You promised, I whisper. But promises do not answer. My eyes fall to the broken shoes from that first interview. They sit beside the new heels. One pair carried hope. One pair carried success. Both now feel useless. Sarah sends a message. Lawyer? I cannot afford one, I reply. Crowdfund. I do not want pity. You want justice? Yes. Then stop crying. I stare at the phone. I am not crying, I type. But tears fall anyway. I pick up the broken shoes. The sole hangs loose. I remember taping them that morning. I remember refusing to turn back. I look at the new heels. Polished. Strong. Thrown aside. Maybe I was foolish, I whisper to myself. Maybe I aimed too high. Silence fills the room. Then something shifts. Not loudly. Quietly. A thought. If I beg for my job back, I accept guilt. If I stay silent, I accept defeat. I stand slowly. I wipe my face. I did not leak anything, I say out loud. My voice sounds stronger. I was framed. The word feels sharp. Frame. That means someone planned it. That means someone feared me. I sit back down and open my laptop again. This time not to search my name, but to search digital security courses. Advanced data tracing. Cyber forensics. My hands move faster. If evidence destroyed me, evidence can save me. My phone buzzes again. Unknown number. You should move on. I stare at the message. Instead of fear, I feel clarity. I type back. Watch me. No response. I close the box and place the broken shoes in front of me. I walked barefoot once, I whisper. I can do it again. But this time, I will not walk into someone else's building hoping to be chosen. I will build something that cannot be taken from me. I look at the contract one last time. Then I fold it carefully and put it away. Not as proof of loss, but as proof of motive. I am at rock bottom. No job. No reputation. No safety. But rock bottom has one advantage. There is nowhere left to fall. Only up. Digital forensic certification. Enrollment confirmed. I stare at the screen. Payment successful. I exhale slowly. No more crying, I whisper to myself. Only upgrading. My days change. I wake up at 5 a.m. Coffee. Laptop. Notes. I watch lectures on data tracing. I pause. Rewind. Write everything down. At noon, I switch to digital marketing courses. At night, business strategy. My mother watches me from the kitchen. You barely sleep, she says. I wasted enough time doubting, I reply. You are punishing yourself. I am preparing. Sarah calls one evening. Are you studying again? She asks. Yes. You already graduated. Not enough. You sound different. I am. How? I stopped waiting to be chosen. Silence. Then she laughs softly. That sounds dangerous. It is. Small freelance projects begin appearing on job platforms. Need help with sales analytics. Looking for marketing optimization. I create a new profile. Different professional name. No past. No scandal. Just skills. A client messages me. Can you improve my conversion rate? Yes, I type. Experience. Results. He hesitates. Trial task. Send it. I work through the night. By morning I send a detailed report. An hour later he replies. This is impressive. Thank you. Full project. Yes. The payment notification appears later that day. Small amount. But mine. Weeks pass. One project becomes 3. 3 become 5. I build case studies. Anonymous. Clean. I track every result carefully. My savings grow slowly. Not fast. But steady. One afternoon I receive a message from an unknown number. I need to speak to you. I hesitate. Who is this? I reply. Former IT support. My heart tightens. From where? I ask. You know where? I stare at the screen. Meet in a public place. I type. Tomorrow. 6 p.m. I arrive early. Small cafe. Quiet corner. He walks in looking nervous. You came, he says. Yes. He sits. I should have spoken earlier, he begins. About what? The leak. My chest tightens. You know something? I saw something. Say it clearly. He lowers his voice. The access log was manipulated. By who? He hesitates. Say it. It traced back to Lena's device. The name feels like confirmation. Are you sure? I ask. I checked internal metadata before it was wiped. Why did you stay silent? He looks down. I have a family. I cannot lose my job. And I could. I ask quietly. I am sorry. Sorry does not restore reputation. I know. Do you have proof? I saved partial logs. Why? Because something felt wrong. I lean forward. Can you testify? He shakes his head immediately. No. Why not? I will be destroyed. So I was acceptable damage? His face tightens. I did not think they would fire you without investigation. They did. Silence. Send me what you have, I say. If anyone finds out, I will protect you. You cannot protect yourself. His words sting. Send it, I repeat. He nods slowly. That night, encrypted files arrive in my inbox. I open them carefully. Login redirections. Device fingerprints. Timestamp overlaps. It is not foolproof. But it is enough to confirm one thing. I was framed. Anger rises inside me. Hot. Sure. I type a message to him. Did she act alone? I do not know. Did he know? No. I stare at the screen. I could expose this now. Post the files. Send them to the board. Fight loudly. My fingers hover over the keyboard. Then I stop. If I attack without full evidence, I look desperate. If I stay quiet, I grow stronger. I close the laptop. Sarah calls. You sound intense, she says. I have confirmation. Of what? I was set up. Then go public. Not yet. Why? Because revenge without power is noise. She pauses. That did not sound like the old you. I am not the old me. Days turn into months. I keep studying. I learn advanced cybersecurity, brand crisis management, negotiation tactics. I apply everything to freelance clients. One client says, "Your strategy saved my business." "Document the results," I reply. Another says, "How are you so precise?" I used to work where mistakes were expensive. My savings account grows. Not luxury, but stability. I upgrade my laptop. I buy better software. I reinvest in myself. One evening, my mother places tea beside me. "You look calm," she says. I am. "Did you forgive them?" "No." "Then what changed?" "I stopped chasing apology." She nods slowly. "What will you do when you see them again?" "I will not go back as a victim." "How will you go?" "As someone they need." My phone buzzes again. Unknown number. "You disappeared." I smile faintly. I evolved. I type back. No response. I stand and walk to the mirror. I look at myself carefully. No desperation. No panic. Just focus. I open the box from the company again. The contract remains folded inside. I place it on the desk. "I will return," I whisper. But not to beg. I open my new freelance dashboard. A larger company requests consultation. International level. I accept. I prepare a proposal that blends marketing insight with security reform. Precise. Sure. Professional. When I send it, I feel something different. Not hope. Control. That night, I place my broken shoes back in the box. I keep the new heels outside. Not as decoration. As reminder. I walked barefoot once out of desperation. I will walk back in heels by design. My email pings again. New message. Corporate domain I recognize. Subject line. Consultation inquiry. I stare at the sender. It is from the company that fired me. I do not open it immediately. I let it sit. I let them wait. Because this time I am not the girl outside the door hoping to be chosen. This time I choose when to enter. And when I do, I will not come alone with innocence. I will come armed with skill. In truth, I did not expect karma to be loud. I expected fireworks, public disgrace, headlines with his name in bold. Instead, it arrived like a whisper. I was scrolling through financial news when I saw the headline about the failed international deal. The company had invested millions in an overseas expansion. The partnership collapsed within weeks. I stared at the screen. They rushed it, I murmured to myself. They ignored the compliance warnings. My phone buzzed. It was Maya, one of the junior analysts who still secretly updated me. "You've seen the news?" she asked. "Yes." "It's worse than they're admitting." "How bad?" "Investors are furious. The board is asking questions. They're blaming miscommunication." I almost laughed. "Miscommunication," I repeated. "That's what they called my proposal too." Silence. "You were right," she whispered. The words felt strange. Heavy. Like, "I know," I said softly. Over the next week, rumors spread like smoke. Internal politics. Department rivalries. Innovation stalled because certain voices were silenced. My voice. I watched everything from a distance. Detached. Calm. Then an email arrived from a large competitor. Subject: Strategic Consulting Opportunity. I opened it slowly. "We've reviewed your freelance portfolio. Your risk assessment models are impressive. We would like to discuss a short-term consulting engagement." My heart beat once. Art. They had seen my work. Not the company's version of me. My version. I called the number in the signature. A confident male voice answered. "This is Daniel." "This is me," I replied. "Regarding your email. We've been tracking your industry insights for months," he said. "You predicted the compliance failure before it happened." "I analyze patterns," I answered carefully. "We value that." I accepted the meeting. The office building was modern. Glass walls. Quiet power. As I walked into the conference room, four executives turned toward me. One of them smiled. "We're glad you're here. Thank you for having me." They didn't ask about my old company. They didn't mention the firing. They went straight to strategy. "We're studying why their international deal collapsed," Daniel said. "You work there. What do you see?" I held my pen between my fingers. "I see speed over structure," I replied. "Ego over data." One woman leaned forward. "Can you elaborate?" They ignored compliance flags. They sidelined dissenting analysis. They built a narrative instead of a foundation. Daniel exchanged a look with her. That aligns with what we're hearing. Of course it did. During a break, Daniel stood beside me by the window. Off the record, he said quietly, "Why did you leave?" I met his eyes. I didn't leave. He understood. They underestimated you, he said. Yes. Back at the table, the discussion turned tactical. If we enter that market, one executive said, how do we avoid their mistake? You don't silence risk reports, I answered. You reward them. They nodded. For the first time, I wasn't fighting to be heard. I was being invited to speak. After the meeting, Daniel walked me to the elevator. We'd like to extend the contract, he said. 6 months. Possibly longer. I'm open to it. He smiled. Good. We prefer people who tell the truth. Truth. It used to cost me my job. Now it was paying my invoices. Meanwhile, news about my old company grew darker. The CEO appeared on television. I watched the interview alone in my apartment. He looked different. Tired. His smile didn't reach his eyes. The reporter asked, were there internal disagreements that contributed to the failed deal? He adjusted his tie. Our leadership team is aligned, he said stiffly. We stand by our decisions. I leaned closer to the screen. His hand trembled slightly when he lifted his water glass. Crack. Small. But visible. My phone buzzed again. Lena. I stared at her name before answering. Congratulations, I said when she spoke. I heard about the promotion. Her voice was tight. Thank you. You don't sound happy. I'm fine. Are you? Silence. They needed someone to stabilize the department, she said finally. After everything. After everything, I repeated. I didn't think it would be like this. Like what? Pressure. Scrutiny. The board is watching every move. That's leadership, I said gently. I didn't ask for this. I remembered the day she sat in that meeting while I was dismissed. You didn't refuse it either, I replied. She exhaled sharply. You think this is karma? I think actions have consequences. For you too? She asked. Her question lingered. Yes, I said quietly. For me too. After we hung up, I sat with the weight of that. Karma is not revenge. It is balance. The next strategy session with the competitor grew more intense. We've uncovered internal emails, Daniel said, sliding a printed document across the table. Their executives knew about the compliance risks. I didn't touch the paper. And? They pushed forward anyway. Of course they did. Can you model a scenario where investor confidence drops 20%? Another executive asked. I already have, I replied. I opened my laptop and projected the graph. If the narrative continues unraveling, their stock will dip within 2 quarters. Daniel studied the screen. And us. If you position yourselves as stable and ethical, you absorb their shaken investors. The room went silent. Opportunity. Built on someone else's mistake. Daniel looked at me carefully. Does this feel personal? I didn't hesitate. No. It was true. I wasn't angry anymore. I was strategic. Later that night, Maya called again. They're cutting budgets, she whispered. Freezing new projects. Is your job safe? For now. And Lena? She's drowning. I closed my eyes. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because you built half the systems they're trying to fix, she said. And no one will admit it. I felt something sharp inside me. Not pain. Recognition. The next morning, another interview aired. The CEO's voice was less steady. We remain confident, he insisted. This is temporary. But his eyes flickered. Confidence was no longer natural. It was performed. I watched from my quiet apartment, contract papers on my table, my name printed clearly at the top. I ran my fingers over it. No logo above my title. No one else claiming credit. Just me. Lena sent a message later that evening. Can we meet? I stared at the words. I typed back. What? The typing bubble appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. I need advice. I leaned back in my chair. Advice. From me. The woman they once dismissed as emotional. Difficult. Replaceable. Karma did not knock on doors. It shifted chairs in boardrooms. It tightened ties on live television. It placed contracts in my hands while others defended their reputations. Quiet. Precise. A shadow moving behind bright lights. I looked at Lena's message again. I could ignore it. I could help her. Forgive. Or walk away. My phone buzzed once more. Are you there? I didn't answer. Not yet. The email arrived at 3:17 p.m. Subject. External crisis consultant, urgent engagement. I almost ignored it. Then I saw the company logo. My old company. I opened the message slowly. We are seeking an external strategic consultant to assist with brand repair and internal risk restructuring. Your recent industry work has been highly recommended. I read the sender's name twice. Board Executive Committee. Not him. Not Lena. The board. They did not know the consultant was me. My portfolio had been submitted through Daniel's firm. Neutral. Polished. Unemotional. I called Daniel immediately. Did you know? I asked. Yes. You didn't tell them. They requested anonymity until confirmation. And now, they've confirmed. I walked to the window. So I walk into that building, I said quietly, and they see me. Yes. Do they know it's me yet? No. I felt something steady settle in my chest. I'll take it, I said. Are you sure? Yes. The morning of the meeting, I chose my suit carefully. Tailored charcoal. Sharp lines. Structured shoulders. No softness. I slipped on my heels. Not too high. Just enough to echo on marble floors. In my bag I placed one object. The termination letter. Folded once. Not for revenge. For reminder. When I entered the building, the receptionist looked up. Good morning. Name? I gave it. Her eyes widened slightly. Of course. The board is waiting. The elevator ride felt longer than it ever had before. The doors opened. The boardroom stood at the end of the corridor. Glass walls. Polished table. 12 chairs. The assistant opened the door. Your consultant has arrived. I stepped inside. Silence. It fell instantly. The CEO looked up first. The color drained from his face. Lena's hand froze over her notebook. One board member blinked twice. I placed my bag on the table. Good morning, I said calmly. Thank you for inviting me. No one spoke for 3 seconds. Then the chairman cleared his throat. We appreciate you accepting. I nodded. I operate under confidentiality, I said evenly. Today I am here as an external consultant. The CEO shifted in his seat. This is unexpected, he muttered. For you, I replied softly. The chairman gestured toward the screen. Please begin. I connected my laptop. The first slide appeared. Brand erosion, timeline analysis. I will focus on 3 areas, I said. Strategic miscalculation. Risk suppression. Internal communication breakdown. Lena stared at the slide. The CEO leaned back, forcing composure. Go on, he said. 6 months before the international deal, I continued, compliance flags were raised internally. The room stilled. They were categorized as low priority. The CEO's jaw tightened. Are you suggesting negligence? He asked sharply. I am presenting documented timelines, I replied. Not suggestions. A board member turned toward him. Were these flags discussed at executive level? He hesitated. They were reviewed. Reviewed, I repeated, clicking to the next slide. And overridden. Silence again. I did not look at him. I spoke to the room. When risk teams are discouraged from challenging leadership narratives, innovation declines. Transparency weakens. Brand trust fractures. Lena's voice finally emerged. Are you implying internal politics? I am implying patterns, I said calmly. The chairman leaned forward. What would you have done differently? I met his eyes. I would have rewarded dissent. The CEO exhaled sharply. You weren't in that position. I let that sit between us. I was in the room, I replied. A flicker passed through his expression. Recognition. The board member beside him spoke quietly. Why were you dismissed? The question hung heavy. The CEO shifted again. It was a restructuring decision. I opened my bag slowly. I placed the folded letter on the table. I was terminated 2 weeks after submitting a compliance escalation, I said. Lena's face went pale. The chairman looked at the letter but did not touch it. Is that relevant? The CEO snapped. It is contextual, I answered. Internal security failures begin with silencing analysts. A long pause followed. No one interrupted. I moved to the next slide. Reputation recovery strategy. Step 1, I said. Public accountability without defensive language. The CEO stiffened. You're suggesting we admit fault? I am suggesting controlled transparency. Another board member nodded slowly. And step 2, she asked. Rebuild trust internally. Anonymous reporting channels. Protection clauses. Incentivize truth. Lena swallowed. You would put employees above leadership? I would put integrity above ego. The words landed softly, but they cut. The chairman studied me carefully. You speak as if you've experienced suppression. I held his gaze. I speak as someone who documented it. The room went quiet again. For the first time, no one looked at the CEO. They looked at me. The power shift was not loud. It was directional. The chairman finally broke the silence. If we implement your framework, how long until brand stability? 2 quarters, I replied. If you commit fully. And if we don't? Then the market will decide for you. The CEO's voice lowered. You're enjoying this. I turned toward him. No, I said. I'm working. His eyes searched my face for anger. He did not find it. Lena spoke carefully. Why accept this contract? I answered without hesitation. Because damage affects more than leadership. She looked down. One board member adjusted his glasses. What is your fee structure? I slid a printed contract across the table. Clear numbers. Firm terms. The chairman reviewed it. This is substantial. So was the loss, I replied. A few quiet murmurs circled the table. The CEO leaned forward. You expect us to trust you? I met his stare evenly. You already did. You hired me. Silence again. The chairman signed first. Then another board member. The pen reached the CEO. He hesitated. His hand hovered above the paper. Do you believe we failed? He asked quietly. I considered the question carefully. I believe you chose control over caution. He looked down. After a moment he signed. The contract slid back toward me. Signed. Official. I placed it neatly into my folder. The chairman stood. We look forward to working with you. I look forward to measurable change, I replied. As the meeting ended, Lena approached me slowly. I didn't know, she whispered. You knew enough, I said gently. I thought staying silent would protect me. Did it? Her eyes filled briefly. No. I adjusted my jacket. You can still choose differently. The CEO remained seated as others left. When the room emptied, he spoke. You've changed. Yes. You could have destroyed us today. I presented facts. He studied me carefully. Are you here to rebuild, or to replace? The question lingered between us. I picked up my bag. That depends, I said quietly, on whether you're willing to step aside. His expression shifted. For the first time, uncertainty. Not anger. Not arrogance. Uncertainty. I walked toward the door. My heels echoed across the marble floor. Each step steady. Each step earned. At the exit, I glanced at the reflection in the glass. Not the barefoot girl who once waited outside this room. Not the analyst dismissed without warning. The expert. The consultant. The one they now needed. My phone buzzed as I stepped into the elevator. A message from the chairman. We may need more than consulting. I stared at the words. More than consulting. The doors began to close. I did not reply. Not yet. The investigation moved faster than anyone expected. Once the board signed my contract, internal audits began immediately. Forensic reviews. Server logs. Email trails. I requested full digital access reports from the last year. Everything? The chairman asked. Everything, I replied. 2 days later, I received a message from IT. Can we speak privately? I recognized the name. Armin. Quiet. Overlooked. Always careful. I met him in a small conference room away from executive offices. He closed the door gently. I should have said something earlier, he began. About what? I asked. He placed a flash drive on the table. Login records. My pulse slowed. Whose? Yours. I didn't touch the drive yet. My access was revoked after termination. He nodded. Yes. Officially. And unofficially? He swallowed. Your credentials were used 3 times after your dismissal. The air shifted. By whom? I asked. He hesitated. I traced the IP routing. It was masked through internal admin override. Who authorized the override? He met my eyes. No one. Silence. That's not possible, I said quietly. It is if someone manipulates temporary clearance permissions. I leaned back. Say it. He exhaled. It traces back to Lena's workstation. The room felt smaller. How certain are you? Completely. I finally picked up the flash drive. Why didn't you report this earlier? He looked ashamed. I was told not to investigate further. By who? He didn't answer. He didn't need to. Will you submit this officially? I asked. He nodded slowly. Yes. The board convened that afternoon. Lena sat at the far end of the table. The CEO looked tired. Older. The chairman began. Digital evidence has surfaced regarding unauthorized access. Lena frowned. What does that mean? I slid printed logs across the table. These are time-stamped entries, I said evenly. My credentials were used after termination. Her hands trembled slightly. That's impossible. IT traced the override to your workstation. Her face drained of color. That's not. Lena, the chairman interrupted, did you access her account? Silence. Her breathing quickened. No, she whispered. I spoke calmly. 3 entries. 1 during proposal revision. 2 during compliance review. Her eyes shot toward me. You think I sabotaged you? I'm presenting logs, I replied. The CEO leaned forward. Lena. Answer clearly. Her composure cracked. I didn't sabotage anything, she said, voice shaking. I was protecting the department. By using my credentials? I asked. Tears formed in her eyes. You were getting too much attention, she blurted out. The room stilled. You were becoming indispensable, she continued. The board noticed you. He noticed you. She glanced at the CEO. I couldn't lose my position. The confession hung in the air. You manipulated my access, I said quietly. I needed leverage, she whispered. The chairman's voice hardened. Did you alter compliance documentation? She covered her face. Yes. The word echoed. The CEO closed his eyes briefly. You framed her, he said. I didn't mean to frame, she cried. I just needed her influence reduced. I felt something inside me shift. Not anger. Clarity. You let them believe I breached protocol, I said. She nodded through tears. I thought it would be temporary. It cost me my career. Her shoulders collapsed. I was scared, she said. I worked too hard to lose control. The chairman spoke firmly. This constitutes misconduct and fraud. The CEO looked at me. I terminated you based on falsified context. Yes, I replied. He didn't defend himself. The board recessed briefly. When they returned, the decision was clear. Lena, the chairman said, you may resign voluntarily or face formal termination and legal review. She stared at the table. I'll resign, she whispered. She looked at me one last time. I never hated you, she said softly. I feared you. I held her gaze. That was your choice. She left without another word. The door closed gently. Not dramatically. Just final. An hour later my phone rang. The CEO. I considered ignoring it. I answered. Yes. His voice was quieter than I had ever heard. I owe you an apology. Silence. I should have investigated deeper, he continued. I chose speed over truth. Yes, I said. I trusted the wrong narrative. Yes. He exhaled slowly. I damaged you. The words felt heavy. You did, I replied calmly. I regret it. I leaned against the window in my apartment. Regret. Such a small word for such large consequences. Why are you telling me this now? I asked. Because you were right. Silence stretched between us. I saw your report today, he said. Clear. Precise. Ethical. I've always been. I know that now. Pain flickered inside me. But it did not control me. You called me emotional, I reminded him. I was wrong. You dismissed my warnings. I was threatened by them. Honesty at last. I thought control meant strength, he continued. I see now it meant fear. I closed my eyes briefly. What do you want from me? I asked. Forgiveness. The word landed harder than accusation ever had. I can't erase what happened, he said. But I can acknowledge it publicly. That would help the company, I replied. It would clear your name. My name is already clear. Yes, he admitted softly. But I want to say it. I hesitated. Forgiveness is heavier than revenge. Revenge burns quickly. Forgiveness lingers. I will not humiliate you, I said finally. But I won't protect your image either. That's fair. The next day the company released a statement. Internal misconduct identified. Unauthorized access confirmed. Previous termination decision reconsidered. My name appeared in print. Clear. Publicly. Maya called immediately. They admitted it, she said breathlessly. Yes. You won. I stared at the skyline. No, I replied quietly. Truth did. The narrative shifted overnight. Articles updated. Comment sections softened. Former colleagues messaged apologies. I read them without emotion. That evening another call came. The CEO again. She resigned officially, he said. I know. She didn't fight it. I know. Pause. I want you to consider something, he said carefully. What? A leadership role. The offer hovered in the air. Why? I asked. Because integrity is rare. And you believe that now? Yes. I thought about the boardroom. The silence when I entered. The signed contract. The resignation. I will consider it, I said. That's all I ask. After the call ended, I sat alone. The termination letter still rested in my drawer. I took it out. I unfolded it slowly. The paper no longer felt sharp, just historical. Lena's resignation email circulated internally that night. Short, controlled, apologetic. No mention of fear. No mention of insecurity. Just accountability. I felt no triumph. Only weight. Forgiveness is not a victory. It is a decision. And decisions shape futures. My phone buzzed once more. A message from the chairman. The board would like to formally discuss reinstatement and expanded authority. Expanded authority. The words lingered. I looked at my reflection in the dark window. Stronger. Calmer. Uncontrolled by past humiliation. But forgiveness is heavier than revenge. Because revenge ends. Forgiveness continues. My phone buzzed again. Are you ready to come back? I stared at the message. I did not answer. Not yet. I met him at a quiet cafe across town. He stood as I approached, hands slightly trembling. I'm glad you came, he said, voice soft. I nodded. You asked to meet. He gestured to a seat. Yes. I wanted to speak, without boardrooms or contracts. I waited. The barista moved past, steam curling from the coffee machine. I breathed. Come. I owe you an apology, he began. Sincere. Not formal. Not convenient. I failed you. I studied him. No mask. No posture. Just regret. I saw you that day, he continued, walking in barefoot. Not because of the shoes but because of your courage. You didn't let the room intimidate you. You didn't hide. I shifted. Memory stabbed sharply. The girl who had clutched her broken shoes. Who had hoped someone would see her. I let the board influence me, he said. I chose speed over truth. I ignored what I should have protected. Losing you, that was my biggest mistake. His eyes held me, pleading for understanding. Vulnerable, honest. I remembered the late nights I'd spent crying in my apartment. Packing up my desk. Walking home barefoot, humiliation cutting deeper than cold streets. I believed in you, I said finally. Back then, I wanted to trust you completely. You did, he whispered. And I let you down. I exhaled slowly. Strength is different now. Success taught me a lesson. He tilted his head. Which is? That I must choose myself first, I said quietly, letting it sink. Before anyone else. Before anyone else's opinion of me. Before even admiration or approval. His face fell slightly. I see. You understand why I acted. I understand fear, I admitted. But I don't forgive it blindly. I forgive it because I've moved past it, not because it excused anything. He nodded, swallowing hard. I am genuinely sorry. I hear you, I said, soft but firm. But don't mistake regret for a reset. My path is mine to walk. He looked down, shame and longing battling in his eyes. Can we rebuild trust? Or friendship? I shook my head gently. Trust is earned. And right now, I'm building something that doesn't rely on anyone else's approval. He swallowed. I understand. I watched him for a long moment, the man who had once been a gatekeeper to my dreams, now simply human. You were remarkable from day one, he said finally. I just didn't know how to see it then. I do now, I replied. And I also know what I deserve. That's all I need to hold on to. We left the cafe in silence. I felt the weight of closure, not the rush of triumph. For the first time, my heels clicked confidently on the pavement, not a girl pleading for opportunity, not a victim walking barefoot, but a woman who had claimed her own space. I glanced back. He watched me go, regret etched across his features but powerless to follow. And for once that felt entirely right. The email arrived just after dawn. Subject: Executive offer, immediate response requested. I stared at it. My hands shook slightly, not from excitement but from recognition. This was the opportunity one had once begged for, barefoot and uncertain. Now it came polished, official, demanding a decision. I called Daniel first. "They're serious," I said. "They've seen your impact," he replied. "You're not just consulting anymore. You're shaping the company." I closed my eyes. Memories surged, walking into that office without shoes, late nights of building skills online, watching karma unfold quietly, presenting my strategy in that boardroom. Strength wasn't given. It was earned outside their walls. That evening I sat in my apartment. Coffee cooling beside me. Laptop open. The board's offer letter gleaming on the screen. The CEO's message appeared moments later. "I hope you'll accept. And perhaps, we can find a way forward together." I leaned back. Together. Those words carried weight. Hope. Possibility. But I had learned that words alone were fragile. Trust needed foundations. I spent hours thinking. I remembered Lena's breakdown. My own tears. The girl who believed in everyone else first. The woman who had chosen herself in silence. I realized I didn't need emotional reconciliation to accept authority. I needed respect. And I needed terms that protected me. I drafted my response carefully. Subject, acceptance, terms enclosed. I listed my conditions. Absolute authority over strategy and security. Clear reporting lines. No implicit personal obligations. Professional partnership only. Respect and boundaries, nothing more. Sending it felt empowering. Final. Clean. The next morning I arrived at the building once again. My heels clicked firmly on the marble floor, each step a declaration. I was no longer the girl hoping to be chosen. I was the woman who chose herself. The receptionist blinked. "Executive Ms. Karim?" "Yes," I said. I walked past familiar corridors, past whispers and curious glances. Some faces reflected surprise. Others reflected wariness. But no one dared question my presence. The CEO approached quietly. "You've decided?" I looked at him calmly. "I have. On my terms." He nodded, swallowing. Then, "Welcome back." I smiled lightly. Not warmly. Not intimately. Firmly. "I'm here to lead," I said. Nothing more. Nothing less. The boardroom doors opened. Chairs aligned neatly. Documents prepared. My team waiting. All eyes turned toward me. I stepped inside. For the first time, fully prepared, fully accountable, fully myself. The room was quiet. Not from fear. From recognition. I took my seat. Opened my laptop. Reviewed reports. Issued directives. Implemented plans. The CEO sat beside me. Respectful, restrained. Not expectation, not hope for personal reconciliation. Just acknowledgement. Lena's resignation had cleared the past. But it was my decision that defined the present. My authority was absolute, my boundaries firm. Later, as I overlooked the city skyline from my new office, I reflected on the journey. Every betrayal, every heartbreak, every barefoot step had led here. Power was not about titles. It was about choosing yourself when no one else would. And I had chosen me. Finally. The city stretched below, bright, alive, endless. I inhaled, steady, in control. The girl without shoes had grown into a woman who walked her own path. And she would never surrender it again. The recruitment hall smelled of polished floors and fresh coffee. 25 candidates waited nervously, resumes clutched like lifelines. I stepped to the front. Heels clicking on the floor. Confident. Controlled. A girl slipped in last, cheeks flushed. Her shoes were scuffed, threads peeling. She glanced at everyone, embarrassed. I smiled gently. "Come on in," I said softly. She hesitated. Then moved forward. I cleared my throat. "I want to start by sharing something personal," I said. "I know what it's like to feel invisible. To walk into a room thinking you don't belong." Eyes widened. Whispers floated. I once arrived at an interview barefoot. My shoes had broken. I was nervous, embarrassed, scared of judgment. But I stayed. I spoke honestly. And I was chosen, not because of luck, but because I refused to let circumstances define me. The girl in the back shifted, meeting my gaze. I saw herself mirrored there, the uncertainty, the fear, the hope. But that was only the beginning, I continued. I was betrayed. Misunderstood. I lost everything I had worked for. I walked home barefoot after being fired. And I cried. A lot. But I didn't stop. I learned. I built. I proved to myself that collapse can create power if you use it wisely. I paused. Let the words sink. You can't control others. You can't prevent betrayal. But you can choose your response. You can choose your growth. You can choose your path. The candidates leaned in, captivated. Some scribbled notes. Some whispered to neighbors. I looked across the room. The CEO sat quietly observing. His eyes met mine. This time respect lingered there. No rescue. No pity. Just recognition. The girl in scuffed shoes raised her hand timidly. Did you ever think you wouldn't make it back? I smiled gently. Every day. But I chose myself. And that choice was stronger than fear, stronger than failure, stronger than anyone else's opinion. She nodded slowly, understanding dawning. I concluded, I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this to show you that power comes from resilience, from learning, from refusing to let others write your story, and most importantly, from choosing yourself. The session ended. Candidates filed out, inspired, murmuring among themselves. I gathered my notes, straightened my blazer. Before leaving, I glanced at the CEO one last time. He nodded subtly, a silent acknowledgement. I walked toward the exit. Heels clicking firmly, confidently, steadily. The city lights stretched before me. Streets alive, infinite. I inhaled deeply. I had arrived where the barefoot girl once dreamed. Not by chance. Not by rescue. By courage. By choice. By survival. I was no longer the poor girl without shoes. I was the woman who had survived betrayal, built power, and claimed her future. And tonight I walked in heels, strong, unshakable, unstoppable.